The Winnipeg Jets and the Edmonton Oilers are two teams that will be forever tied together, joined at the hip from their time at the WHA to the rivalry in the NHL that was just newly renewed. They're like Chicago and Detroit, Boston and Montreal, Toronto and Boston, everybody in Boston. It's just a rivalry for the ages. And they're like brother-sister cities. They're both freezing cold. They're both blue-collar working towns. They both got great people in it, and they both love hockey. And coincidentally, both are in trouble to make the playoffs this year, and for very similar yet different reasons. Welcome to the Worst Sports Channel on YouTube, Hot Garbage Sports with me, Coach Ryan D. I want to go ahead and take this time to dive into the Winnipeg Jets and the Edmonton Oilers. The Edmonton Oilers are close to signing Evander Kane. Congratulations, Dave Tippett and Ken Holland. Ken Holland, you're a moron. If you guys want to go ahead and take a look, there is this gem tweet from Wheelhouse Hockey that just got copy and pasted from Twitter. Link is down below where they go over the last decade of Holly's career. It's embarrassing. Now look, Holland brought the Oilers back from the dead, and he understands that he's in the prime time of Connor McDavid's career. So what is their answer? To bring in a locker room cancer like Evander Kane. Look, I hope Evander Kane gets the help he needs, because the man has problems. Man has marital problems, family problems, hockey problems. His history of just pure insanity is well documented, from the money phone to not being vaccinated to lying about it to the Twitter war that his poor child is going to look back like just, oh, that poor kid, between his wife and himself. He's just an absolute clown, to the fact that all of this clown behavior he leads into, but at the end of the day, the dude needs some help. And the Edmonton Oilers think that this is going to salvage Connor McDavid's prime years. Look, Edmonton and Winnipeg are statistically less likely to make the playoffs than 50%. Nobody saw this coming. They're both on massive slides. And why? Edmonton fans, I told you on this channel, and I got torched and yelled at. I told you Mike Smith was almost 40 years old and that he probably couldn't carry the load, and last year was an anomaly. Nope, it's the greatest goalie in the world. It'd be fine. Wrong. Coach Ryan D is right. Then I told you Mika Koskinen is dust. He went on a 9-game heater. You're crazy. You're looped. This guy's the greatest. We're the best. Nope. Wrong. He's dust. Told you. Look, the Edmonton Oilers addressed their depth problem, but at the end of the day, the third thing I told you is that Dave Tippett doesn't know how to manage his ice time. And I was right. 3 things, 3 for 3. And I don't brag about this because Winnipeg's in the same crap hole for very similar reasons, which we'll get to. So look, Edmonton, this isn't going to fix your problem. This is a problem you don't want. And what does Ken Holland do? Calls a press conference today where people think he's going to sign Evander Kane so he could stand up there and say what? Not fire Dave Tippett, not make any changes. He says, everything that we're doing right now is going as swimmingly as it can, and let's stick to the plan. That's basically what he said. Like, I'm paraphrasing. No major changes will occur, and he defends all the decisions that have been made. I feel sorry for fans in Edmonton. That is absolutely brutal. Bad contract after bad contract after bad decision. They basically ruined Ethan Bear's career, and they end up bringing in a player that's not nearly as productive as this kid is. You got Evan Bouchard sitting back there. Oh, let's just wait for the shoe to fall there. Don't get us started on the Duncan Keith signing, although it ended up working out rather well. But Warren Fogle is no Ethan Bear, and Connor McDavid's years just keep ticking on away. And McDavid has some blame for this too. He signed a $12 million deal, deservedly so, but come on, the guy should have read the tea leaves on the wall. What happened when Kane and Taves signed their big deal? Chicago did this. As soon as you sign monster deals, it leaves no room to build players around you. And yes, you deserve to get paid, but there's a reason Malkin, Crosby, and Ovechkin took such large discounts for their services at the time. They were generational players too, but they built Stanley Cup contending teams around them because that $3 million difference means all the world. Edmonton, I'm sorry, folks. We're probably missing the playoffs here. Winnipeg Jets fans, hey, not much else to say over here either. Look, this is a Stanley Cup contending team butted up against the cap, just like the Edmonton Oilers. This is a team that signaled they're all in. This is a team that fixed the back end, and this is a team that I told you from the beginning of the year, Paul Maurice wasn't going to end up being the guy. Something was wrong in Winnipeg, and what do they end up doing? He has to end up walking himself away. Check my video up above. Classy Paul Maurice, fantastic human being. It just wasn't his year to be the coach this year. He has to end up pulling the chute because management wouldn't pull it for him. And then people were all in the comments going, well, you know, this is laughable. Maurice had to go. It's not management's fault. It's management's fault. It's always management's fault. There are different things that could happen, and they gave up 20 games in the season, switched to an interim coach, and now Dallas is on a 5-game win streak. St. Louis, hot. Nashville, somehow first in the Central. Don't ask me how. Smoke and mirrors, but they're a good team. And Colorado is the dominant team that we've ever seen. And the Pacific isn't as bad as we thought. And now Winnipeg has less than a 45% chance to make the playoffs. And it's only going to go down unless Winnipeg puts a 6 to 7 game heater under interim first-time head coach Dave Lowry, who I like, but this isn't the time to have an interim head coach. But what else are you going to do? Because you end up with a mid-season resignation. Another wasted year of Hellebuck's prime years. Look, Connor McDavid's one of the best players in the world. Hellebuck's only got 3 years left with the Jets in that amazing contract. Then he's going to ask to be paid. Mark Scheifele's got that same 3 years, and you waste all this talent. Look, Edmonton has 3 players that are overpaid. When those players aren't in the roster, Edmonton just nosedives. And you know what? Even if they are in the roster, their goaltending has holes. Winnipeg has 6 or 7 really well-paid players, but unfortunately, they're not performing to the level that needs to be performed. So what is the difference? Both teams are butted against the cap. Winnipeg has more depth than Edmonton. Edmonton has a better power play and better scores. And it all comes down to the same thing: mismanagement and miscoaching. And now we're in a place where the Pacific League favorite and one of the favorites of the Central may not make the playoffs. And that's why we love the NHL. Winnipeg and Edmonton fans, stay tuned with us. Subscribe, like, join us. Let's hope this thing turns around. But statistically speaking right now, both of us, we're married at the hip. We're both in a little bit of trouble. The similarities of the rivalry continue.